There are 7 Roblox games that perfectly depict the 7 deadly sins. However, if we turn the tables, we'll also find Roblox games that are the exact opposite, the 7 heavenly virtues. And today we'll be discussing all of them, starting with the deadly sin of envy versus the heavenly virtue of kindness. Envy is the sin of longing for others' belongings, be it wealth, status, or relationships, with the desire to see others suffer loss rather than achieve success. And the game which perfectly fits the description is C's Battlegrounds. C's Battlegrounds is an anime Battlegrounds game that took the platform by storm on November 17th, 2023. It was the year when Gear 5 Luffy from the anime One Piece was released. This created a frenzy among the fanbase as players rushed to find games where they could try it out. When the game first dropped, the graphics and visual effects hooked the players like never before. The devs kept releasing updates like fixing the UI and even added new characters like Zoro and Enel. Despite the combat being clunky and buggy, fans still loved the game and believed that the developers would soon fix it. However, after the update on December 17th, the game suddenly stopped getting updates. The lead developer of the game, Stalka, kept promising updates, and even after multiple delays, fans remained patient, hoping the update was just around the corner. Unfortunately, the updates were never released, and this would continue for the next few months. After a long wait, the devs dropped the update and introduced a new character who is not even part of the One Piece lore, Gojo Satoru from the anime Jujutsu Kaisen. Fans were outraged as many started to question the devs' intention of making characters outside the One Piece universe. It was clear to the fans that the devs were only chasing trends and jealous of other games capitalizing on Gojo's popularity. And what made matters worse was the fact that Gojo was added to the public servers, which made the fans even more furious. As one fan pointed out, this is why some Battlegrounds games almost instantly die out, because they don't focus on the verse and specifically add Gojo, because they know adding Gojo is basically a free cash grab. The final nail on the coffin was when Stalka admitted that they weren't really passionate about the game and had only created it as a funding project. By this point, the damage was already done. Now, the game barely manages to reach 80 active players, which shows that being envious and not respecting your fans is not really a great idea. Before we continue with the rest of the video, I just wanted to say that it would really mean a lot if you could subscribe and help me get to 70,000 subscribers by the end of this month. While the devs of C Battlegrounds bit the wrong apple, the next game on the list still runs the show, all because of the developer's generous nature, which falls under the heavenly virtue of kindness. Kindness is the virtue of being compassionate and celebrating others' success rather than feeling resentful or jealous. Released on July 1st, 2017, Flee the Facility is a survival horror experience where 4 players act as survivors, while 1 player takes the role of the beast. It was inspired by the popular horror game Dead by Daylight, and is loved by many for its intense gameplay, fair mechanics, and most importantly, its community. While the game is violent in nature as it involves the beast hitting the players with a huge hammer, ironically, it is also home to one of the friendliest communities on the platform. Not only that, it's also one of the few popular Roblox games that isn't pay to win when compared to the likes of Pet Simulator. While there are in-game purchases, most of them are purely cosmetics that can be earned by grinding and doesn't really affect the overall gameplay. When the airport map was released in 2019, it was a massive hit as the game went on to hit 1 billion visits. As of now, the game has over 4.8 billion visits, making it the 24th most visited game on the platform. Even though Flee the Facility doesn't dominate the front page like it once did, it still holds a special place in the hearts of many in the Roblox community. But if there's a Roblox game that boasts the title of being the worst community, it has to be the game Criminality, which represents the sin of wrath. Wrath refers to resentment towards someone, often resulting in violent behavior that disrupts peace and harmony. Developed by CrimCorp, Criminality is an open-world action game and is similar to popular games like The Hood and The Streets. While these games had their very own set of problems, Criminality stood out from the rest as it had a more interesting gameplay. However, as time passed by, the community took a turn for the worse. New players getting jumped, getting trash-talked in the voice chat,
You sound like you love KFC.
And mass teaming became the norm. Over time, the toxicity wasn't just a part of the game, rather it became a defining element of Criminality. which even experiences like the Hood are known for. The game quickly spiraled down from being competitive to a breeding ground of harassment, ruining the experience for other players. The bigger part of the problem are the developers who overlooked what was going on in their game. Initially, the devs were more engaged with the community, releasing constant updates and providing a balanced version of the game. But soon, everything changed as the dev team launched their most hyped update, only for it to turn into a complete disaster. The game introduced the gun case system, which gave players an excuse to flex their expensive skins and act superior, fueling the toxicity in the community. Not only that, the devs kept on adding more and more crates, which slowly turned the game into a blatant cash grab. Seeing this, many YouTubers who were well known for their criminality content eventually walked away. Instead of fixing the toxic culture, the dev team completely went silent and let it spiral out of control. The same sentiment was echoed by one of the fans, stating, "I know people are trying to get the developers to catch on to these problems with their game, but let's be honest, they really don't care about it. They just want money, so this isn't going to work." On the flip side, there's a game which does the exact opposite and represents the heavenly virtue of patience. Patience is the virtue of remaining calm in the face of adversity, suffering, or provocation. And the game which fits the criteria is Build a Boat for Treasure. Initially, the players were only focusing on making simple boats and collecting gold. This made sense as this was the core mechanic of the game. However, over the years, players started creating massive ships, detailed cities, cars, and even computers, since the developers kept adding more and more tools to the game. Another best part of the game is how friendly and helpful the community is. There are tons of YouTube tutorials on how to build, as well as dedicated Discord servers in which experienced builders guide others to improve their craft. To make the game even more interactive, the developers introduced the Boat of the Season and Boat of the Week. This encouraged the players to put in the effort to make amazing high-quality builds instead of simply rushing it. Even after 9 years of its release, the game averages around 15,000 active players, all thanks to its kind and supportive community. While traditionally, the sin of gluttony is seen as excessive eating and drinking, it can also be extended to overindulgence of other material pleasures and taking more than what is necessary, even at the expense of others. And the game which bears the sin of gluttony is none other than Blox Fruits. Blox Fruits is one of the biggest games on the platform, having close to 50 billion visits. However, this hasn't kept them out of controversy as they are accused of outright scamming their loyal players. When the devs announced that the dragon fruit was getting an upgrade along with a full rework, fans were thrilled. Many players started assuming that they would simply get the updated version for free, since they had already paid for it. The dragon fruit was also one of the most expensive fruits with a price tag of 2,600 Robux. However, when the update finally dropped, the players were shocked to find out that they weren't given the updated version. Instead, what they got was a dragon token that allowed them to trade for a discount on the new version. Fans were outraged as the new dragon fruit costs 5,000 Robux, which is nearly double the price that the players paid for. After using the dragon token, the price only lowered to 2,600 Robux, which means that the players were forced to re-buy the fruit once again. Some players who had spent real money and expected a free upgrade were extremely disappointed, and many felt scammed. The game forced massive backlash from the community, and the devs were forced to damage control the situation, announcing that they were working on a solution. Still, players weren't happy with how the developers handled the situation. As one player commented, "Crazy how Blox Fruits players are just now realizing that the devs are greedy and don't care about their players." While Blox Fruits is losing credibility from its loyal fanbase, Lumber Tycoon 2 has proved that you don't always have to be greedy to have a successful game. Temperance refers to the practice of refraining oneself from overindulgence and being patient, which is often overlooked in video games. While the core game mechanics of the game is about chopping trees and selling them for money, it is also a safe haven for free-to-play players. Even though there are a couple of game passes which were released in 2020, the players still have to cut, process, and build using the wood properly. This also reflects a lot about the mindset of its developer, Defaultio, who is well known for his scripting and building abilities, and is also behind several popular games like Coaster Creator and Mining Tycoon. In most of his games, there is little to no pay-to-win elements which truly show how passionate he is towards what he does. Apart from that, Defaultio is known for interacting with his fans in a humorous way with the community, something which the developer of Realm Rampage needs to work on. More often than not, pride is considered as the worst sin of all due to the excessive belief in one's own abilities. While being proud of your creation is one thing, being arrogant and completely disregarding others' opinions is where it gets problematic. And without a doubt, the developer of Realm Rampage is the very embodiment of pride. Dubbed the Jujutsu Shenanigans Killer, Realm Rampage was one of the most hyped Battleground games, which had a staggering 100,000 players on the day of its release. Despite that, the game now has less than 1,000 active players, and surprisingly, the problem isn't the game itself, but someone much closer to it. And that someone is the owner of the game, a Spectre. Young Creptix, who also goes by the name A Spectre, has a habit of jumping from one project to another. It all started with his first Battlegrounds game, Z Battlegrounds, followed by DBZ Battlegrounds, which he bought for 500,000 Robux. While some fans were happy knowing that the newly acquired game will continue getting updates, many were still upset that it wouldn't be the same under A Spectre's control. As predicted, things started to fall apart and A Spectre decided to start Key Battlegrounds, another Dragon Ball Z-based Battlegrounds game. But after the main developer took an indefinite hiatus, A Spectre decided to release his fourth Battlegrounds game, Realm Rampage, which was doing great until A Spectre lost interest again. On top of that, he is also accused of copying, harassing members, and allowing creeps on his server. Fumblet, a popular Roblox commentary YouTuber, also talked about his problematic behavior, stating,
"You can tell this guy has the ego of a million YouTubers, constantly being condescending to people, repeating the fact that he's a millionaire at a young age."
While A Spectre stands for pride, the other side of the coin is represented by Crazy Blox, who is a perfect example of humility, which is the virtue of being modest. Crazy Blox is a popular Roblox developer who is well known for developing games like Flood Escape Classic, Mario Kart Roblox Dash, Skyblox, and Flood Escape 2. In the game, the players must work together and complete multiple maps by pressing all the buttons in order to escape. The game also had many different mechanics like wall jumping and sliding, which made it even more diverse and fun to play. He is also owner of the group, Crazy Blox Games, which has over 350,000 members. However, his popularity isn't because of the games he created, rather because of his down-to-earth personality. Despite being popular, Crazy Blox has not misused his position and never had any controversies. Not only that, he had also collaborated with YouTubers like Twisted Pandora, showing that he's still deeply connected with the community, and the fans are loving it with comments like, "Man, I really wish I could play with Crazy Blox. That'd be fun. You are so lucky. I always wanted to play with Crazy Blox and tell him I love his game." However, the same cannot be said about SpongeBob Tower Defense, as it is the very personification of greed. Greed is the desire for material wealth, position, or power, leading to exploitation and complete disregard of others, as those corrupted by greed are rarely happy with what they have. When compared to other tower defense games like Anime Vanguards and Anime Adventures, SpongeBob Tower Defense takes monetization to a whole different level. To start with, there are multiple game passes for speed boosts, XP boosts, and summoning perks. Not only that, there are also passes like VIP and Ultra VIP that offer bonus rewards on AFKing along with an XP bonus. Not to mention, the Double Your Luck Game Pass can stack up to 8,192 times summoning luck, costing a combined total of 409,550 Robux, which is simply mind-boggling when you compare it to the amount of pay-to-win mechanics the game already has. Apart from that, there are also bundle packs like boost bundles and food bundles which cost another 1,500 Robux. However, it doesn't end here, as you can buy trait and gold trait rerolls, golden spatulas, and magic conches which can cost up to 10,000 Robux. Well, to put it simply, there's a lot of them. It looks like each and every little thing in this game is locked behind Robux. And even worse is the fact that this game is targeted towards kids who probably play the game without fully understanding how unfair these mechanics are. As one player commented, "This game is more of a cash grab than the whole of Cash Grab Studios," and also jokingly added, "The person who made this game is Mr. Krabs," which actually goes well with the theme of the game. While the developer of SpongeBob Tower Defense is busy adding a few more passes, Starving Artists doesn't get enough attention when it comes to charity, which is the heavenly virtue of sharing wealth, time, and resources without expecting anything in return. Developed by Double Bandit Studios, Starving Artists is a donation game that allows players to showcase their creativity and earn Robux by selling their artwork. It is similar to the popular donation game Please Donate, but instead of simply donating, the user can buy the artwork of the creator. In the game, players get the option of setting up their own booths and market their art to prospective buyers. When a player buys somebody else's art, it is added to their inventory, which they can either keep or put on display and resell it. The best thing about Starving Artists is that it is a great way to support a player, as it's not just about giving Robux, but appreciating someone's work. Unlike Please Donate, where donations are often an act of kindness, Starving Artists awards creativity, and fittingly won the Builderman Award of Excellence in the Roblox Innovation Awards 2022. In recent years, there has been a sharp uptrend of Roblox YouTubers and developers getting exposed as creeps, which has sparked a heated discussion within the community. And one such developer is the co-creator of Dandy's World, who represents the sin of lust. Lust is the uncontrolled desire that often involves treating others as mere objects to fulfill one's sexual needs, with little to no care for the well-being of others. Developed by Blush Crunch Studios, Dandy's World is a horror survival game that rose in popularity, garnering over 2 billion visits in less than a year. However, one of the co-owners of Dandy's World, Rox, would soon be exposed for interacting inappropriately with multiple minors. When Rox was 17, he developed feelings for Paige, who was a minor at the time. Later, Paige introduced her friend, Buddy, and they both started having conversations together, which quickly went from playful to outright disturbing. After some time, Rox joined the Tower Heroes community and befriended Pink and Blue, who invited him into their friend circle. After his friend Pink had a fallout with another member of the server, Gary, Rox created an obscene art of Gary, engaging in an inappropriate act as revenge. By this time, Rox had already turned 18, but this didn't stop him from sharing inappropriate art. However, after getting exposed, Rox tried to defend himself by posting a 1-hour-long video, our final response to allegations. But this didn't help him either, as he was accused of using his cat's passing to gain sympathy, and was forced to take down the video. And it didn't take long for the Dandy's World development team to fire Rox, as he was never heard of ever again. While the desire of lust can degrade and destroy a person's character, the heavenly virtue of chastity is the exact opposite, where desires are guided by morality rather than uncontrolled actions. While there are a few popular games that fall under this category, Brookhaven RP stands out the most. Brookhaven is a role-playing experience that allows players to take on different jobs, buy houses, drive cars, and explore the city in an open-world environment. However, what makes Brookhaven one of the best role-playing games is the fact that it has continued to be a safe place for kids with a family-friendly environment. Compared to games like Meep City and Condos, which are flooded with highly inappropriate content and online dating, Brookhaven has proved to be a better option. While there's no game that is completely free from players with bad intentions, Brookhaven has managed to discourage the behavior to an extent, and still continues to host 500,000 active players. The popular role-playing game has also managed to stay on top without pushing a lot of pay-to-win mechanics, keeping it simple and enjoyable even for free-to-play players. While there are a couple of game passes, it doesn't really affect the overall experience of other players, making it one of the biggest reasons for the game to still be relevant today. And to stay relevant, there's one more thing that's quite important: regular updates, something which the Rainbow Friends are desperately in need of, making them our prime example for the sin of sloth. Sloth refers to being lazy and avoiding one's duties and responsibilities by not even putting minimal effort. Developed by Roy and Charcoal, Rainbow Friends is a multiplayer horror experience where players have to collect items without getting caught by the monsters in the facility. The story is divided into 2 chapters with similar lore of collecting and escaping without getting caught by blue, red, purple, and the other rainbow friends. Initially, the game was well received by the public, but over time, the game became boring and repetitive as there have been little to no updates ever since Chapter 2. As one fan pointed out, I do like playing Rainbow Friends, but you beat it once and it becomes boring. Doors has modifications to make the game more fun, and you won't get bored of it most of the time. I don't hate Rainbow Friends, but it is just way too boring compared to Doors. To make matters worse, the creators of Rainbow Friends were hit with a massive lawsuit with allegations of stealing the character design of a popular character, Purple. The person who sued the game accused the devs of taking down his Twitter post and filing a separate lawsuit for allegedly infringing their trademark. Well, this sucks. When I used to be a fan of Rainbow Friends, Purple was my favorite character. I hate to see that the ones who made Rainbow Friends stole the design from someone. This lawsuit is deserved. That's sad. Losing a friend, getting your birthday character taken away, getting blocked by your friend, your character succeeding without you, and not getting credits is horrible. As the future of Rainbow Friends looks bleak, Frontlines has shown the Roblox community that hard work really pays off, which falls under the heavenly virtue of Diligence. Diligence is the counterpart of Sloth that promotes discipline and to continue dedicating yourself to your responsibilities. Released on February 22nd, 2023, Frontlines is a first-person shooter game developed by the Maximilian Group. It was inspired by Call of Duty, where players have to fight and win against the enemy team, which is just like any other FPS game. However, it was Frontline's realistic graphics and gameplay that helped it quickly gain the reputation of feeling more like a AAA shooter than a typical Roblox game. But creating such high-quality games is not easy, and rightly so, as the devs did face a few hurdles along the way. One such instance was when an update was supposed to roll out in 2 parts. The first part was released without any trouble. However, due to a couple of challenges, the second part was delayed. But instead of releasing an unfinished update, they chose to be transparent about the situation and admitted that the update is going to take a bit longer than expected. This is something a lot of bigger studios won't even think of doing, which shows that the dev team are diligent and really care about their fans. As expected, the players were also really supportive, and one such fan even had some really good words for the devs, saying, "This game is a 10 out of 10 for me. The graphics are absolutely incredible for a Roblox game. For me, the one thing that obliterates every other Roblox FPS is the time to kill. It is literally perfect and it shouldn't be changed because it goes along with the realistic gameplay."